On this episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup, mock draft season. That's exactly right. DBR mock draft 1.0. No trades, but all of our horsemen are here. Two of our horsemen are here. One's backstage and one's on vacation. But we're here regardless. We're here to talk Denver Broncos with you. Join us live. Show starting now. Welcome in, Broncos country. I am your host, Trevor Salzman. That's the first time I've hosted in a while. And next to me is my other horseman, my counterpart tonight, Mr. Jody Moncrief. Jody, how are you doing this evening? Great to have you on. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've hosted. As you could tell in my intro, I was kind of thinking of it on the fly. But nonetheless, we're here. Going to be doing a mock draft tonight. Going to be sharing our favorite Peyton Manning story or memory that we have. Obviously, turning 50 just the other day. But first and foremost, Jody, how you doing tonight? Welcome to the show.
Doing good. We're just a little over 2 weeks of the Jalen Waddle trade, and the more I dive into it, the more I like the trade. I was an AJ Brown guy at first, but the more I dive into things, I mean, he fits what Denver needs. He doesn't have the locker room stuff. The fact that they called Nick Saban and, got his blessing, I mean, and he spoke very highly of him is, that's all the blessing you really need. So I love this trade and I'm ready for football to get here.
Absolutely. And I agree with you on the whole Jalen Waddle trade. It's crazy. It's been 2 weeks now since the Jalen Waddle trade. It's insane. But what's not insane is one of our posse members, Mr. Ernie Mays, coming in, says, "Go Broncos country only. Hello, Trevor and friends." And Ernie Mays also saying, "Hello, Jody." He did not forget about you, Jody. Our good friend TW coming in. What's good, fellas? What's good, TW? Just hanging out, talking Broncos. We're going to be doing our first mock draft this year, Broncos style, I should say, 1.0. So looking forward to getting to that as well. So let's get into that mock draft. Kenny's Mr. Kirkpatrick's backstage with us doing our producing tonight. Of course, that we're a couple different roles, but let's get this mock draft underway. We'll let some posse members come in and everybody chime in as well. So tonight we're doing our 7-round mock draft. Obviously, the Broncos do not have a first-round pick, but they will obviously have a second-round pick, no third-round pick, two fourth-round picks, and we will not be doing trades in this mock draft. And we're wasting no time getting into this mock draft. But please, everybody in the chat, continue to comment and continue to say your hellos as well. We just want to get into this mock draft, talk about it. I'll talk a little bit. Jody, I do have a question for you. When it comes to 62 for the Broncos, what are you looking for if you're the Denver Broncos? Put yourself in George Payton's shoes and Sean Payton's shoes. What are you looking for at 62 when it comes to the draft? Are you looking at need? Are you looking best player available? Talk about it a little bit.
First, I was going to say best player available, but I think they still have a glaring need on this, and it's linebacker. And I'm happy with the starters, but you don't have any depth there at all. It's not good. I mean, you can't rely on Drew Sanders, Lavelle Bailey, and some of these other guys. They've never played. So you've got to get somebody there that you got to get a third linebacker there. So I think middle linebacker almost has to be the play unless they make some kind of move. I mean, they're still freeing up a little money here and there. They just freed up a little more with Waddle's deal. I don't know if that's to get somebody. But for me, that's the most pressing position because every other spot, you can say tight end, you can say running back. You've got depth there. We may not all like it, but I think they are a lot higher on RJ Harvey than some. I think they're a lot higher on Evan Ingram than some. I think Denver's made the decision or come to the conclusion that it was a scheme and internal getting plays in and that type of thing more than talent on the field. So I think they're good at every position other than you've got to get depth at linebacker.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. As we get our mock draft reset here, we're going to try to get all 7 rounds in. We're working backstage to do that right now. But Jody, I will say this too. The Broncos have around $20-ish million in cap space. Do you see them making another splash? When I say splash, I say decent sized splash, I would say, before the draft, or do you think they wait till after the draft? Because here's the thing with this draft class, you need about $3-4 million with this draft class in total. You got to keep that in mind. Once you trade pick 30, you trade your 3rd round pick. That's going to offload some of the money that you're going to have for your draft picks set aside. So, do you think there's a big splash that Denver makes before the draft? Do you think they wait till after the draft? Do you think that they're just waiting until possibly the summertime to right before training camp to sign anybody? Your thoughts, my friend?
Probably after now. Especially if the news, what I've read today, if they're moving little Jordan Humphreys to tight end, I mean, he's already a Sean Payton guy, and so we know he blocks. Is he the best receiver out there? No, but you could probably do worse. So if they move him there, I mean, what are you now, 5 deep at tight end, not counting Caleb Beloner. You're 3 deep at running back, and what's out there now? Not much. So I don't really see unless it is, and I'd have to go look, unless there's a linebacker sitting out there that you feel confident that can be your linebacker 3. Other than that, I don't really see anything. I see it after the draft. Maybe if they don't get the guy they want or fill a need, maybe they make a small trade or something. But other than that, I can't see anything before now.
Do you prefer, before we get into the draft, we have the simulator going right now currently, thank you to Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick, our other horseman, one of our 4 horsemen, backstage for doing everything tonight and handling the mock draft simulator for us. But, Jody, I will say this. Do you think that they end up, you leaning towards them adding somebody on the defensive line, like a Calais Campbell, or are we talking about like them possibly adding a tight end, like with David Njoku? Where do you think they're leaning towards if they're going to add somebody in free agency? Again, still plenty of cap space left, around $20 million right now, and you're not going to need a ton to really sign your draft picks this year. So what position do you think they're leaning towards if they're going to lean towards signing somebody in free agency still?
Probably someone on the D line. If I was going to guess now, I think they think they're confident in Malcolm Roach starting. I mean, they paid him early in last year. But I could see somebody, the longer that the dude from the Saints, I can't think of his name,
Cameron Jordan.
The longer Cameron Jordan sits out there, that's a Sean Payton guy. And at some point, I could see Sean Payton saying, here's an incentive kind of deal and bring him in for 1 year. And I think Jordan would be interested in that just because he knows Denver's close.
Mm-hmm. My only concern with Cam Jordan before we get to the mock draft, and TW comes in here and says best player available would be good for our first pick. After that, go for needs. My opinion, I agree for that, but I will say you have to draft best player available with also like having that need in mind too. So I mean, you don't want to be drafting a position that you're stacked in. Like, you don't need another wide receiver on the board at like 62. If that's the best player available. So you kind of got to mix, in between both. But real quickly for me, Jody, I will say I'm probably more on the Calais Campbell route more than anything. I think that he fits more with what this defense's needs right now. Plus, this still opens up enough playing time for Sevion Jones, who the Broncos took last year in the 3rd round, to still get a good amount of playing time. I know they still want to develop him as well. I don't think they want to necessarily rely upon him. But I think they want to still kind of leave that window open to where he still has playing time, and then you can kind of mix him in with the veterans. So I like Calais Campbell even maybe more so than Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan's a name, I understand that, but I just don't know if Cam Jordan wants to put his hand in the dirt again. Where I mean, he's getting older. I know from an edge rusher standpoint, I think he fits probably a different team, but it'll be interesting to see. I guess obviously you have the Sean Payton connection there to Cam Jordan as well, so definitely something to monitor going forward. And something not to monitor going forward would be Mr. Phil McLaughlin being amazing, saying good evening, Rocket Man, Judge, and Kenny. With love and nose tackle. Phil, you've been on this nose tackle thing with me for I think a couple of years now. I 100% agree with you, Jody. Real quick, quick question for you, really quick. Is nose tackle anywhere on your arsenal when it comes to needs for the Broncos at all in this draft?
I don't think it's a huge need, but it would be interesting to see because I think Draymond Jones, when he came from San Francisco, was more of a 3, not a 1, and how he would more perform outside. I mean, they don't really have a true. I think Orazawike probably is about the only guy they have that's a true 1 technique. I mean, Jones plays there, and he does all right, but I think he would be more suited for a 3.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
but I don't think it's a glaring need. I mean, there's other depth positions on this team before nose guard, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think that last year was a draft class. I think to really consider. I think this draft class inside on the defensive line, I think is pretty weak from last year's draft class, in my opinion. So we'll see what they end up doing. I think it's definitely on the table more and less than like with everything else. I think cornerback, safety, some of these other positions that are going to be needs for this team going forward. So I mean, you never know what's going to happen with Riley Moss and Jaquan McMillan. You're probably bringing one of them back, but probably not bringing both of them back. Safety, Brandon Jones. Is on an expiring deal. You don't know what you're going to do with him per se. So it'll be interesting to see what the Broncos do going forward. But I agree with you, Phil. Nose tackle, I think definitely at least needs to be on the table. And Phil, thank you again. That comes with 100 stars. So thank you, Mr. Phil McLaughlin, for the 100 stars and for the comment and for just joining in the show in total. We appreciate it.
That one that you just said, I think is the one to watch if Denver's going to. I think there's 2 moves. I think one, if Q Robinson continues to have that upward trajectory like he had in the playoffs and stuff, that might make Jonah Ellis maybe tradable. And that's one thing I could see to get a depth piece. And then the other one is if Jahdae Barron is balling out like Jaquan McMillan did last year, at what point do they deem that they can move off of Riley Moss because he's going to have to get paid next year? So those would be the 2 for me that I could see. That's the one, but the cornerback probably is the one they're going to have to make a decision. Is it Riley Moss or is it Jaquan McMillan? And then you've got to make a decision. Where is Jahdae Barron playing? I don't like the idea of put him inside, put him outside, put him somewhere and let him grow in that role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it begins to wonder, and I know we have the mock draft and we simulator it's been sitting up there for him, and I completely understand. And I promise we're going to get to it, but I think this is a really good discussion to have because you have these veteran players. Like I think Jonathan Cooper could be on the trade block too. I mean, who says you couldn't possibly move Jonathan Cooper and try to move up into the draft a little bit? I mean, I know this team has 1 top 100 pick in this draft. That's what concerns me the most after the Jalen Waddle trade. You had to give up what you had to give up for Jalen Waddle. There's nothing you can do to change that. But what you can change is possibly getting more picks in the top 100 because you're still going to have young players on controllable contracts going forward. I mean, and they're going to have to be cheaper. You can't pay everybody top dollar in this league. So you still got to be able to draft and develop at a high level. And it'll be interesting to see what could you possibly get something for Jonathan Cooper and maybe throw your second round pick in there. Maybe you can possibly trade back into the first round. It'll be interesting some of these scenarios. Maybe Riley Moss. If you're not going to bring back Riley Moss, why are you holding on to him if he's just going to be out the door in a year? Maybe try to get value for him now. And so Jahdae Barron, I think, needs to get more playing time too going forward. Like, I mean, he was your former first round pick from a year ago. You got at some point in time, he's got to get the playing time. He's got to be the guy, and you got to see what you have in him. I wonder though if some of these players, it's not being talked about quite a bit, at least not quite yet, I should say. Riley Moss, Jaquan McMillan, Jonathan Cooper, some of these guys, because you have Jonah Ellis, who could be a starter, I think, in this league too, and I think the Broncos feel that way as well. It'll be interesting to see if some of these veterans are not on the trade block for the Broncos going forward, if they're looking to possibly move up in the draft or looking to get more top 100 picks. So something that, though, I think to definitely monitor going forward.
Yeah, and I kind of floated this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago. Riley Moss feels like he's in the JFM same situation. I mean, it just felt like to me that they deemed way early last year that they weren't bringing him back, from the draft, moving up in the third round to get Savion Jones, and then you paid Malcolm Roach right away. I mean, you paid him over John Franklin Myers. And I had posted something the other day that, I mean, besides he had 3.5 more sacks, John Franklin Myers, but their stats were close. I think that is one of the, and so I can see the same thing with Riley Moss. What if do they, like you said, if you've deemed that you're moving Jahdae Barron out there and you're gonna move on from Moss, I'd be trying to move him and not let another good player go for nothing.
Yeah, I agree 100% there. And then Adam and Kayla coming in saying, good evening, family. Good evening, Adam and Kayla. About to do our mock draft. We're trying to get everything set up for a full seven round mock draft. Broncos, for the Broncos, they're going through different scenarios. That's what these exercises are for. We don't know what's going to happen in the draft, of course, but I think having everybody prepared of what could possibly happen in the draft for the Broncos is something to that I love to kind of do and love doing throughout the offseason. And so these are what these exercises are for, and this is why we're doing this. But looking forward to seeing what this mock draft has in store for us. I believe we are set to go here pretty soon. Mr. Kirkpatrick's backstage for us. TW also saying send Cooper or Moss to Jacksonville for one of their third round picks. Do you agree with that real quick, Jody? Would you send Cooper or Moss to Jacksonville for one of their third round picks? I think you can possibly get more than that though for one of those guys, especially Cooper.
But I think I would try to hold out, even if I had to give up, say, like one of my 4s to get a 2 or a 3. I would probably do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could go ahead.
It would be interesting to know what Denver's board looks like, because if there's not a guy that they're just in love with just to get the pick, just to get it, to me, doesn't really make any sense. You got to have a guy that you're in love with to make the trade, to move off of somebody like those two that were starters on this defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with that. I will say I would try to move up a little higher if the Broncos could, honestly, because I think, yes, you can get a good player 62, but if you can move up to get guys, this would be the year to do it. I mean, clearly this is an all-in football team right now. You made that Jalen Waddle trade for a reason, and so I think getting a chance to move up in the draft, if you get that opportunity, is something that you got to be open to, and especially with some of these guys that it's going to be hard to bring back with your current cap situation. So I would try to move up. And honestly, for Cooper, I think you can get a second round pick for him. I think that he's that.
I mean, he's double-digit sack guy.
Yeah,
good.
Under contract.
He's not the best, but he's good against the run. And I mean, there's a lot of teams out there that need pass rush. So, I mean, you're not finding a Jonathan Cooper in the second round, in my opinion, especially in this draft.
Yeah, exactly. And I think also one thing to point out, I mean, contract value is so important in this league, and I think with Riley Moss being on the final year of his deal, I mean, if you're a team trading for Riley Moss or Jaquan McMillan, you're not only trying to acquire the player himself, but you're also have to factor in he's on an expiring contract, and you're going to have to pay him on top of giving up picks and what it would take to try to get him, to try to get that player. So whenever you're trying to acquire expired contract, I think the value goes down for players a little bit. But if I'm the Broncos, I'm trying to get more picks for the guys I know I'm not going to be able to bring back. You going forward with the current cap situation. Yeah, you're in a Super Bowl window. I get that, but you also have that replacement, Jahdae Barron, in that secondary where you can move off Jahdae Barron if you need to. Or excuse me, not Jahdae Barron. You can move off of Riley Moss or Jaquan McMillan if you need to. You have a guy, Jahdae Barron, who can step in and be that starter for you. So you're the Broncos front office, you got to weigh this back and forth thing, because if not, you could be losing Riley Moss or Jaquan McMillan in free agency, and that will be a big hurt for this franchise and for this team forward. You'll take a step back in your secondary a little bit.
And if you look at JFM, I think if you just look at his numbers, I think he was overpaid. But I mean, that's what bad teams do. They have to overpay to get players. So, I mean, the same thing's going to happen with Riley Moss, whether Denver wants to try to keep him or not. Someone's going to offer him, overpay him to get him. So if you're not willing to go into that next number, especially if Knicks is in the $50-60 million range next year, then move him now. And if you can get a 4 or 3, that's a steal, and take it and run.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I will say too, and one thing to mention, Jody, how much do you value running back in this class as well? Like, I mean, and I say that because, like, at 62, how would you grade that for the Broncos? Like, is running back still a priority for you even after free agency with J.K. Dobbins being brought back? The role of R.J. Harvey, obviously, it seems like R.J. Harvey still has a pretty decent sized role within this offense, or they're going to at least give him that opportunity. Do you think running back is still near the top of the list for the Denver Broncos when it comes to at pick 62? I will say,
For me, it would be, but I think Denver has a lot more faith and trust in R.J. Harvey than what everyone else believes in. I mean, they drafted him in the second round. They're not going to give up on him. And he's probably the wild card for me on this team. If he takes that next leap, I mean, that solves. I mean, really, that's what Denver wants, is for him to take that next leap, and you don't have to waste another pick on a running back. I just don't know that he's there yet. And it would be interesting. What's going to be interesting? How much does Davis Webb, put running into his? Is he going to try to be more balanced, or is Sean Payton telling him, "You throw the ball here," and whatever? Are we still going to be out of whack the way? I mean, Bo Nix had the most pass attempts last year. It's ridiculous. For a second-year quarterback, he should be nowhere near the top like that.
Yeah.
So those facts for me, though, it would be it's a need, because I'm not sold on Harvey. I'm probably higher on Dobbins than a lot of people. I mean, it's that can he stay healthy? If he's healthy, then he can play a full season. Then I'm not worried, because I mean, you had a top 2 or 3 running back till he got hurt. So,
yeah, I certainly agree with that. Looks like we're still trying to get our mock draft situation all figured out here. As soon as I get the okay from Mr. Kirkpatrick, we will start. But let me get through some of these comments, because they're coming in. TW said send Cooper and Moss Jacksonville for one of their third round picks. They got 3. I did not know that Jacksonville got 3. I mean, I'd still try to get a little higher if you could. Ernie May said soon we'll be talking real football. Go Broncos country only. Phil coming in says no third for Cooper, maybe Moss. I see, Phil. I would say a little. I would disagree a little bit with that, because I think with Jonathan Cooper, he's under contract longer. Plus, he's a double-digit sack guy. And like, I know Jonathan Cooper struggled against the run, but still being an edge rusher at the premium position, I know cornerback is with Moss as well. I still think you can still be able to get, I would say at the very least a third-round pick, but I think possibly second-round pick, especially if you can pair one of those fourth-round picks with like Jonathan Cooper and seeing if you can try to move into at least the bottom half of the second round. I would at least give that a consideration, and maybe with Moss as well. But Moss's value, I think, is a little bit down because of his contract situation. Like, again, you're going to have to acquire him, then you're going to have to pay him long-term when acquiring him. So it's just something to keep in mind. Farm Boy 86 coming in, Cowboys fan from last night. Hello, guys. Hello, Farm Boy. Great to have you in here. And then TW says Coop kind of fell off towards the end of last season. I do agree with that, TW. And I will say, especially against his run defense, I mean, he was not able to set the edge very well, and that's something for the Broncos going forward, they're going to have to realize that. And I say realize that, like, they have Jonah Ellis on this team that I think he could start. The thing with Jonah Ellis is he's got to be able to stay healthy. But you have Q Robinson right behind him. I mean, you've got other guys right behind Jonathan Cooper that, hey, they're cheap, they're young, they're controllable. I mean, at some point in time, you got to give them some consideration. You got to give them some playing time. So I think with Jonathan Cooper, I think he's one of those players to watch going forward. Like, hey, this team may move off of him going forward. They may look at that because this roster is starting to get more expensive. You just got more expensive going forward with Jalen Waddle. Yes, this year maybe he's not expensive, $5 million, right around that. But going forward, it's like $27 million. Plus, they may rework his contract. They rework his contract, it's going to go up a little bit more. So, per year. So this roster is going to get more expensive. You got Bo Nix coming up in a couple of years. So you just got to think about those positions we got to start making cost-cutting moves at some point in time. So it's something to keep in mind when we're talking about this. And then Ernie comes in and says JFM wanted money, not the Broncos. Glad he's gone. TW coming in and said, I kind of would like a rotation of Jonah and Q, Nick, Tillman, and a rookie. And then Phil says, that's what I meant, Cooper, in his first second. Yeah, Phil, definitely. I figured that's what you meant, but wasn't for sure. So thank you for clarifying that. And I definitely agree with you on that one.
And I think all this hinges on what Bo Nix does. If Bo Nix holds out and says, pay me $50, $60 million, and your hands are probably tied because I think the Sean Payton, Bo Nix stuff is over dramatized a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And what Sean Payton, I am pretty sure Sean Payton don't want to start over with another rookie quarterback again. So, I mean, you're paying Bo Nix is going to get what he wants or close to it. It's just going to be interesting to see will he do something like Pat Surtain and take a team-friendly deal where what Pat Surtain was like 10th or 11th highest paid corner right now. I mean, So if Nix does that, it probably helps his team. If he wants to be the highest paid quarterback or something like that eats up 20-30% of your cap, you're probably going to see 2013. You're probably hoping to see 2013 Broncos of 37, 38 points a game to win games.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're officially already mock draft. Thank you to Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick backstage for working his tail off back there. Really appreciate it. We needed to find something that obviously was very accurate and definitely worked. So, Jody, we're up at 62. Broncos are up on the clock. And chat, please play in along with this. We want to hear from you as well. Sound off. Who should the Broncos pick at 62? Here we have everybody on the side of the screen here. I know Jody's loves Jadarian Price. I think he's starting to get googly eyes for him right now. He's looking at him, staring him down. But Jody, worth everybody here on the board, where are you leaning towards?
I think I'm probably leaning Price or Jake Galladay. I really like him at linebacker. I was hoping that Rodriguez would fall to you, but he probably goes. He might even go late first. If not, it's early second. So, personally, I would like Price, but I think Denver probably makes a smart move and they go with the way the sport is. They probably go Jake Galladay and hope that he can turn into the linebacker you need.
What do you? Okay, so tight ends are here. Eli Stowers is here. Ernie Mays, he's reading my mind. I like Eli Stowers a lot, and aloha to Mr. Patrick Wilsey as well. Great to see you, Patrick, in here. Thank you for joining. Eli Stowers is here. I know we just like to talk about Jake Galladay. I know you're a big Jadarian Price guy here. How serious, if Eli Stowers makes it this far down, how serious are you considering tight end right now?
I would consider it other than your room is loaded with, I mean, it's loaded. It's not loaded with what I would call elite talent, but if Evan Ingram can stay healthy, I think they're going to get him more involved. But how much longer does he have? You got to have someone in the wings, and we've seen what it was like 2 years ago when it was Troutman and Nate Atkins and you didn't have anyone else. I don't know that I want to go back there. So it's probably next in line for me for seriousness. If I'm going off of what Denver thinks, because I like I said, I think running back is much higher in my opinion, but I think they love RJ Harvey and they Sean Payton really loves J.K. Dobbins.
Mm-hmm. And we're getting a couple posse members in here tonight. TW says Price, Galladay, one of those guys. Phil's coming out here and saying Galladay, Stowers. I mean, I'm kind of all over the place right now because I like AJ Halsey too. And I mean, he'd definitely be in play for me because I don't think like as much as like, and I agree with TW early what he said. Best player available. I think it's got to be considerations. I mean, heck, Jennings Dunker is if he's available there at 62, I'm considering him. I'm sorry. I mean, I know it's a tackle. I get that, and that might be the most popular pick, but that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the most popular pick. I'm looking for the best player available on the board, regardless of the position. Like, obviously, you're probably not taking a wide receiver. I get that, but like best player available, that's where you got to go. And so, like, and you got to weigh your needs as well. And there's like Jed Galladay. You need a linebacker behind. You need a linebacker behind Singleton, Strnad. I don't trust that linebacker room right now. Like, I like Strnad. Singleton, yeah, he's pretty durable, but again, he's not great in coverage. And if Strnad goes down, Singleton's your guy. He's your starter. Drew Sanders. We don't even know if Drew Sanders is going to make this roster. Like, we hope he makes this roster, but who the heck knows? Final year of his contract, of his rookie deal, he hasn't done much. Like, you don't have much there. So I don't know, Jody. I'm back and forth on this. Like, I want Stowers there, but I'm like, also like a couple tight ends later down the board. Like, I don't know that Denver's going to go tight end early, especially after paying Adam Troutman the way they did. And also, you have Evan Ingram in the room. I mean, they pretty much kept the same tight end room from last year, or they did, I should say. So I just don't know. Like, I think they're going to add a young tight end to the room, but I just don't know if they're going to do that at 62.
And I will say it's interesting at tight end where if little Jordan Humphries is moving there, where does he fall into the depth chart? Is he 2? Is he 3? And then are they going to give Caleb Lohner a serious shot to make this 53 this year? That's the other one. To me, I thought it was kind of weird. I mean, he never dressed all year, and then they bring him up for the playoff game. He didn't end up not dressing, but I mean, they brought him up and he practiced all week. So I think they're seeing something there. So those two guys are wild cards for me where they fit into this tight end room.
Yeah, and TW coming and saying Dunker as our new left guard would be nice. Would instantly improve our run game, but maybe not our pass pro. I think he'd improve the offensive line, but at least he'd give you also somebody else in that offensive line room. Like, either he can move to guard or stay at tackle. He gives you a player that you invested in, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you've had undrafted guys like Frank Crum that you invested in to a degree. Yes, I agree with that, but at some point in time, you would like to see this Denver Bronco front office and coaching staff invest into the offensive line in the draft. I mean, this is just a front office that just doesn't do it very often, and that's probably why I'm like, I don't think they honestly go any on the offensive line at 62. If I had to guess, just because they typically don't invest into the offensive line in the draft.
And if you look at their current roster, I think they're pretty set there. I mean, you got your 5 starters. And remember, they decided very early not to move on from Ben Powers. They decided not to touch the contract, not rework it, nothing. I mean, they came out and said that right away. They could have done a lot of things with that money, and they didn't do it. They re-signed Alex Pacheski, who I think would be more than serviceable at right tackle. And then you got Frank Crum. However people feel about him, Sean Payton is high on Frank Crum. I mean, he was your swing tackle last year at the end of the season. He's out catching, touchdowns in the playoff game. And when Ben Powers got his job back, it wasn't Pacheski as a 6th lineman. It stayed Frank Crum. And then the last name is the center from South Carolina. I don't know how you pronounce it. Nick, however you pronounce his last name. I think he was going to make the 53. Yep, I think he was going to make the 53 till he broke his ankle.
I agree.
And then you got Forsythe still, who's going to make this roster as a backup center. So I don't know really where a lineman fits in. Plus, you rework Parrott, and I don't know if he makes it or not, but that's 10. I think that's 10 deep there. So
Yeah.
I don't know right now that's. I can't even really see him drafting a lineman, to be honest.
No, and not an offensive lineman. Defensive line's on the table, but I'm starting to kind of go away from that a little bit. What about a cornerback? We have a couple corners. Keontae Scott is there. Keith Aubney's there. And Kenny's going to put up the corners for us. How do you feel about them taking a corner here at 62? I know it's not everybody's favorite pick here, but I mean, I think it's got to be in play.
I'm not. Excuse me. I'm not really high on it. I mean, you got your starters. McMillan is your slot. And then remember, I think they're still high on Chris Abrams-Drains. So you're four deep there. If they go anywhere in the secondary, it's safety. How much do they value Devon Keys? Is he part of the reason that they let PJ Lott go? I mean, he didn't get paid a lot. I think he got $5 million in Dallas. So where they are with Devon Keys, where they are with JL Skinner, if they feel those two guys can move into a PJ Lott type role, and if they feel that, I don't even. But safety would be the only one that would be the wild card for me.
Okay. Let's take a look at linebacker really quick as well before we make our pick here. I agree with you. Safety right there. Halsey would be a nice pick there. I think a nice little insurance option. So this is the linebacker room currently. Kyle Lewis is there. Jake Galladay's there. Deshaun Barham, Deontay Lawson, Kayshawn Elliott, Harold Perkins, Kerryon York, Caleb Elm Alarms, or is a guy I like later on in the draft. It's hard right now because I am higher on some of these players. Like I do agree with these safeties there, like I guess, and linebacker. Like I like Galladay. Do I love Galladay? No. I'll be honest. I don't love Galladay. But the linebacker room, like it's some.
But you could sell me on Stowers because when was the last time they really got serious about drafting a tight end? I mean, it's been a long time. I mean, Greg Dulcich's in the third round, but that didn't pan out at all. And I mean, it's before Julius Thomas, really, when they invested heavily in a tight end. So I could be on board with Stowers. So,
yeah, I mean, I Jody might be on board with Stowers more than I am right here. I actually like safety. That's where I'm leaning here. Chat, please everybody sound off. Phil, we're not doing trades in this one, but we will as we get closer to the draft. We will start doing trades as we get closer. So, but with this our mock draft 1.0 right now, we're just gonna do picks all 7 rounds. So. But we will be doing drafts later and later mock drafts. This is just first of many mock drafts we'll be doing on Denver Bronco Roundup as well. We do all 32 team mock drafts. Well, I think Kenny and I are like 4.5 coming up this weekend, 5.0, either one, however you want to categorize it. But Denver Bronco Roundup wise, it's our first one of the offseason, so we'll be doing more and certainly add trades in there as well. I like Halsey here, though, I will say. But chat, everybody sound off. Who do you want the Broncos to pick here at 62? We have the board right in front. So everybody can see. I like Halsey here. I'll be honest. I think safety is more of a need than some may think.
Whoever they bring in, I want them. They necessarily don't have to be a starter, but I want them to make an impact on this team. I mean, you can look at last year's third round pick. He could hardly see the field. I don't even think he dressed most games. Your first round pick last year played 20% of the snaps on defense. And so you could sell me on Stowers, and just because I think he's athletic enough, if he makes some plays, it's going to be hard to keep him off of the field.
Mm-hmm. So you're leading Stowers right now?
You could sell me on Stowers, especially if you think that there's another linebacker later in the draft you can pick up that's I mean, there are later ones like Lander Barton's out there, which I like. I mean, his brother was here last year, and or 2 years ago, Cody Barton. So I think he's a little bit better than Cody Barton. So there's guys out there that can fill that depth piece. And if it's like it was last year, I mean, Alex Singleton really didn't come off the field that much.
Yeah.
And if you're rolling with Justin Sternad as your other starter, I don't think he's coming off the field all that much. So what's another you draft a linebacker that high, he's just going to sit. I mean, I don't want to see that again. So whoever it is, I just want an impact. I want a guy that makes an impact, not another 10 to 20% of the snaps type guy.
And Mike Washington Jr. is there to a 62. So which way are you leaning towards right now, Jody? If you had to.
I will say that I've kind of flipped the bit. Mike Washington is probably my number 2 running back over Price now. I just love his size is what really sells me.
Okay.
I just can't see Denver drafting a running back that high because what does that say to RJ Harvey after 1 year? I just can't see that. So for me, probably I've talked myself out of linebacker. It's probably Stowers, or you could go safety because that guy's going to still play in the nickel and dime.
So we have
you could pick either, and I would be happy with it.
Okay, I go Halsey. I think Kenny was going Halsey there. Chat. I think it seemed like everybody was on board with safety. I think that's from everything that I've seen. So Kenny, I think let's make that pick. Let's go AJ Halsey here, 62 to the Broncos. See, I do like Mike Washington, but I think like the fumbles are an issue for me. And is he really what does that say to RJ Harvey? You took a running back in the second round. Like, I know they were in on running back,
and that's the thing for me is someone said RJ Harvey can't be your number 1 next year. I'm not going to say necessarily is your 1 because I think Dobbins probably is. But RJ Harvey, he's like I said earlier, he's the wild card. If he takes that next leap and he can be a 700-800 yard running back, that's going to be huge. And that's the step you need because what I don't want again is like they did 2 years ago when it was estimate 1 carry and then you're bringing in another guy that hadn't played and you don't have a guy. Get a rotation, and whether it's 1 guy, 2 guy, whatever it is, I don't want 4 guys getting carries like we seen 2 years ago. I don't want that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And TW says, "Never mind, give me Washington." Didn't know he was there. He was there, but I just don't know that Mike Washington fits. Like I said, TW. Like the fumbles are an issue, and Sean Payton don't like running backs that fumble the ball. And I just as many like Mike Washington's getting talked about quite a bit, but yeah, I mean, I think they pass on running back. I don't think they take running back as high anymore. Bud Clark is
sure they're going to draft running back, but I can't see it probably in their first 3 picks. I can't either. I can't see it. They've made the decision. If they thought it was that important, they would have overpaid. They had the money, they'd overpaid and went and got ETN or somebody.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was that much of a pressing thing for him. So
I agree. Kenny, let's look at linebacker really quick and see what's there at linebacker. I'm curious. We're at safety right now. Okay, so still some decent safeties available, linebackers available. Deontay Lawson, Kayshawn Elliott, Harold Perkins, Terrion York, Caleb Alarms Ower. I'm a big fan of him. But Jody, right here in the linebacker room, are you a big fan of any of these guys?
I like Harold Perkins out of LSU. He's a little smaller, but I'd like to get another Al Wilson big type linebacker back there. But
yeah,
I think at this point now, I'm probably looking offensive side. I would like to get Nick's 1 more weapon.
Tight end then, or are we looking at?
Yeah, I'm probably
Okay.
tight end. I'm probably not drafting a wide receiver. And I like Oscar Delp a lot. If it wasn't for the injuries, he'd probably be a fringe bottom of the first round, early second round pick. So um I could see him. I like him. I like Eli Raridan's all right. I mean, I'm a Notre Dame fan. I mean, he's bigger, he can run.
I like Jack Andrews a lot. That's my guy. That's why I waited. I wanted to wait on tight end. That's why I was okay with waiting on Stowers. Stowers actually goes.
But I'm good with whatever. But this is where I
well,
kind of signaled to Bo Nix, I'm getting you another weapon, and because really they haven't. I mean, to be honest, it's been mid to late round guys were really what they've addressed or drafted the last few years, and I think this will finally show him that we are willing to get you more weapons.
I will give you this pick right here since I took pretty much the Halsey pick, and I know you agreed upon it. But I'll give you this pick, and then I'll take the next pick. Wherever you want to go. And
if they're going to go off the board, I could see Delp just because you don't have to rush him in right away. Ingram's going to be your starter next year. Troutman's going to play whether anyone likes that or not. You didn't give him a 3-year deal to sit him on the bench, so I'll go Oscar Delp. That's where I'm leaning.
Okay, Kenny, we can go ahead and go Oscar Delp here. I know that's going to make Glenn Ashley really happy because he loves Oscar Delp. I think I hear about Oscar Delp every day. But no, I agree with you. I like Oscar Delp's size. I will say there's some things that kind of concerns me a little bit about him. I think that again, does he do anything elite? No. I think he love his size, but this is probably where he's going to go right around this range. Again, I like Jack Andrews a lot more because he's an inline tight end, but can also be a versatile tight end threat downfield as well. So, but I couldn't definitely not disagree with taking a tight end here. Oscar Delp, I know he's been getting a lot of hype here lately, so don't mind the pick though for sure. We got 111 here. Oh, sorry.
And I like his size. I mean, 6'5", 260. I mean,
yeah,
you're not going to find much bigger than probably Darnell Washington, who came from Georgia as well.
Right. So we got the Broncos here at 111. This is the Miami Dolphins pick, so the Broncos obviously moved up a little bit. So 2 picks away for the Broncos in the draft, and that's something to definitely watch for this team as well. And they could possibly pair those 4th-round picks up together to move up into the 3rd round. But Kenny, let's look at linebacker, and I see Bud Clark sitting right there, and I can't believe he's still sitting there. Kind of wish we maybe didn't take Halsey there in the 1st round, but I think got to look at linebacker here. So we got Dante Lawson, Elliott, Perkins, and I know you're a big Perkins fan.
And I'm good with whatever they've got to address it. They got to get some depth there.
I agree. And that's why I say I do like the linebackers, but I feel like there's definitely tiers. Like for me, it's Rodriguez. It's like the CJ Allens of the world together. Styles is in a different category himself. Anthony Hill, those guys are like all in one tier, and then like you get the next tier like Galladay, Trotter, some of those guys down a little bit later. TW does not like Perkins much. I'm not overly high on Perkins. I will say he wouldn't be my favorite. I like Elam's or the linebacker out of tennis at TCU. I like him quite a bit. And that's probably where I'd go if we're going linebacker. You'll get your guy. But that would be my pick if you're going to go linebacker here. But let's look at everything else, Kenny. I want to make sure we're covering everything. Defensive line. We haven't talked about defensive line too much yet. Can we look at the defensive line side of things? Okay, so we got Carlini, Harris, Durant, Chris McClennan's there. If McClennan's there in the next round, that's probably where I'd go. I mean, that's a 5th-round pick right there. That's the thing. Would he be there still? I like going defensive line later.
Yeah, and I'm good. I think I'm probably going linebacker here.
Yeah. And the chat, let's see what the chats see what they want. We got Mr. Phil McLaughlin coming in. The more mocks I see, the more I think this is a year to trade back. I swear some of my picks are showing in the 100s. Why not get a few more thirds, get a better chance to get I don't know what are we saying there, in my opinion. I mean, I agree there, Phil. I will say some of those mocks, though, you got to be careful of where like those trades, because some of those trades are just like unrealistic. Like teams are just not going to accept those. And so I will agree, though. I don't want to be surprised if we see some movement from the Broncos standpoint, like moving up into the draft again, like moving up from the fourth round to the third round. Especially if there's a player that they really love that's falling down the board. I mean, it may even come like it's probably going to come draft night. Day 2, I would say, is a hot spot for Denver, because like day 3 is not the greatest, I will say. So day 2, if you can maximize your picks there, I think is a better route to go in this draft. So it'll be interesting to see what the Broncos do. But Paul coming in here and said, I want a tight end second round, trade 2 for us to get in the third, go running back. And then Paul says Broncos like to trade up in the middle of the draft. Phil says return on investment. Okay, so Phil, sorry about that. Yeah, so for me, I'm going Caleb Alarms, the TCU linebacker. I think he fits this team to a T. But would love to see what the chat has, if they have any suggestions here. That's where I'd go. We haven't taken linebacker yet. We just took AJ Halsey with our first pick at 62, and then we took Oscar Delp, the tight end, with our one of our fourth round picks. So let's see. We have anybody in the chat say anything yet? No. Kenny, let's just go ahead and make that pick. Alarms or Caleb Alarms or the linebacker at TCU. That would be my pick here if I'm Denver. You get a chance to address a need there in the fourth round. So you get really a tight end and you get linebacker in the fourth round. Jody, how would you feel if this is how the draft would go so far for the Broncos?
Well, I would be fine with it. I mean, you've addressed depth needs at safety. You've addressed depth needs at tight end, and I think you're going to get a playmaker at tight end. So I'm good with it. I like the way that it's going.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's everything. I mean, it's not everything you want, but it's like best scenario possible. And some of these players are slipping, then like I don't think it actually will slip. Like Bud Clark slipping as far as he did. But I do like taking linebacker there. McLennan, yes, but I wanted to wait on defensive line a little bit. I think you had to take linebacker there. We've passed on linebacker twice now. I didn't want a chance to pass on linebacker again, and then you don't get your guy, and you have no depth behind Singleton and Singleton and a lot of those guys. So just turn out
Right.
that's what I was trying to say. Ernie says, awesome pick, Trevor. Now it's a for 3 picks. Thank you, Mr. Ernie Mays. 170, Jody. Where are you leaning here? We've addressed safety, we've addressed tight end, and we've addressed a linebacker so far.
Let's look running back here. This is now where I think you can go best player available, because you've kind of filled your depth at linebacker, safety. Now we can look and see what best player available is.
What's the defensive line look like, Kenny? Really quick.
I think the only position that I'm not really leaning to draft now is wide receiver. I don't want another mid guy that's going to come in here and fight for snaps with other mid guys that are trending upwards.
I 100% agree there. And I don't think you need another wide receiver. I mean, heck, we may see a scenario where Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin could be possibly used to for the Broncos to possibly trade up in this year's draft too. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it's a possibility, and it should definitely be on the table after the Jalen Waddle trade. So defensive line so far, don't love it. I will be honest. I don't love it. I kind of wish we maybe would have taken defensive line earlier, but again, you had to get linebacker. Like we kind of forced ourselves with that pick. So let's see. Anything on the? I mean, I would say offensive line, but where in the heck are you gonna take it? Like, is this team gonna take an offensive line? Like, they just don't do it. Let's go best. Let's see what best player positions. Best player available. Kenny. Bo Stevens is still there. The inside line, interior offensive lineman out of Iowa.
Yeah, and it's your pick, but I'm good with whatever here. Like I said, you don't have a lot of needs now, so get who you feel fits this team, and I don't care if he's 190 or 180. Get the guy you want now because you're in a position now. It's needs over or wants over needs, in my opinion. You're in that position now, so.
Would you consider Seth McGowan from Kentucky, the running back from Kentucky here, Jody, at all? I mean, is he consideration at all? I know he's got character issues, but the talent's there. There's definitely talent there with him.
Let's look at the running back again. Did both Penn State running backs come off the board already?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, looks like they did.
This is the thing with running back now. Do you want another Jaleel McLaughlin, Tyler Birdie in this rotation? I mean, that's what these guys are going to be. So do you even want that? I mean, I kind of like Le'Veon Moss. I thought he was all right at Texas A&M. I think I'm probably leaning defensive line here. Really, to be honest, that's probably where I'm going. I don't really love it, but
I like Bo Stevens here a lot. If you're looking to add depth in that offensive line, I know we just talked about it earlier, like adding it early.
And I would be good with that because I don't know how. I mean, I think they're good for 1 year, maybe there. I don't know how they feel about Nick Gargulo, how his ankle healed up. Can this guy move in and play center? Can you move on from Forsyth? So they've got some different type of options there. I mean, I would be good with that because I would have to say this is probably Ben Powers' last year here in Denver, unless he just balls out completely where he's all pro or something. So
and they didn't re-sign Pelcheski. What was it? Was it a 2-year deal for Pelcheski? Was it they just So I mean, like, you don't know what you're going to get from Pelcheski. I mean, he's one bad year from like just not being on this roster, just like maybe they changed their mind about him. So that's why I say like Bo Stevens here. I mean, he could play inside at guard. I mean, the more depth, the better. I like the player here, especially he's fallen this far, 170. I mean, I think he's probably gone before here, honestly, in the draft. So he'd be in consideration. Kenny, let's look at tight end really quick. I know I'm not trying to double dip at tight end per se, but I'm just kind of curious. Okay, so a lot of the tight ends are pretty much gone.
I mean, I think I would. I'm fine with Bo Stevens. Lock that pick in.
Yeah, let's go Bo Stevens, Kenny. I love that pick. I mean, that's an A pick there. Let alone, I think we've actually had a really good draft so far. Getting a chance to get interior offensive line inside. I mean, you get a chance to add more to that offensive line room. I mean, I love that pick there. And I mean, I don't think he falls that far. So far we've taken safety with Halsey, tight end, and we with Delp. We also took linebacker with Elms, and then Bo Stevens here at 170. So chat, grade our picks right here. How do you feel that we've done so far? I actually like what we've done so far. I think we've addressed needs and sort of kind of want best player available also. So I mean, I would be pretty satisfied with this draft so far. I actually like what we've done so far in the draft. So we're at pick 246. Jody, this is your pick on the clock here. Where are you going? TW, before you get to that pick, he says all those running backs clear. Jaleel Bidet it's not even funny.
I agree with that, other than there was a reason that they brought him back, and they brought him back so soon. I don't think there was anyone out there chomping at the bit to go sign Jaleel McLaughlin. So
Mm-mm.
I think here I'm probably leaning D line. I think I've tucked this far down. I think I've pretty much tucked myself out of running back.
Okay.
The Denver's kind of backed themselves. They backed themselves in a corner in a little way with when they went out and signed or re-signed J.K. Dobbins right away. That and then you've got to give R.J. Harvey one more year. Was it elite what we've seen in the running game? No, but he had elite pass catching skills in my opinion, and he can build on running up the middle, and I think that's something that they've been working on with him. So I'd probably lean D line here.
Can I throw a name out there for you? Bobby Jamison Travis. I love him from Auburn. He's a guy that I'm watching down the board. I don't know if he's still here, Kenny. If you can try to bring him up on the defensive line, interior guy, 6'3", 328 pounds. I think he's would be a very solid pick here, and a player that hasn't been talked about enough, in my opinion. We'll see if he's available. But Jody, do you think? I will say the one thing about our mock draft so far is we have not addressed running back. Maybe that's one regret that we didn't do there. But yeah, I mean we passed on running back, but we've gotten everything else right. Do you agree with do you think that it's a bad thing if Denver just completely passes on running back completely in this draft? Like, would you be surprised if they did that?
No, because like I said, I think they are a lot higher on RJ Harvey than a lot of fans are.
Okay.
I think that's the guy. So, I mean, whether we like it or not, I think it's live or die with him, and then you've got your fingers crossed, hoping that they can get that magical season out of Dobbins to stay healthy for a full season. And then I think you're in good shape. I mean, he was on pace for close to 1,400 yards and double-digit touchdowns last year. So,
Agreed. Bill has here B plus for our mock so far. Our first mock draft on DBR of the offseason. Ernie says, "Nice, Jody. A for 4 picks. Thank you, Mr. Ernie Mays. We appreciate that. We're getting a couple B pluses in there. So, I mean, I think so far, B pluses. I mean, I can certainly kind of disagree with that much at all. So, like where this draft has come about for sure.
yeah, I think I'm probably going D line here. I'd like to get a little depth there. I'm not sure that I mean, they did bring Matt Hennessy back, and we'll see how he comes off of the injury. Losing Myers, you're going to have to fill some depth there a little bit. I know they're high on Jones, but I just found it weird that he never even could see the field at all. Why he at least didn't dress.
Right.
At least get him a few snaps a game if that was the ultimate plan. So I would probably go D line here.
Okay, it's your pick. Kenny will go to defensive line. We could not find Bobby Jamison Travis in the simulator, so went. It's sad because he's a great player, but and a player I really like. But Jody, your pick. You're on the clock here at for the Denver Broncos at 246. Where are you going? What player are you going to go? And yeah, break it down for us.
I do like the defensive lineman from Miami. He's big. I thought he played well in the national title game. I would be interested there. I know it's probably a little early. You probably get him with your next pick, but like I said earlier, this is one of those you're drafting what you want now, and it doesn't really matter where you're getting him at this point.
Okay.
Secure the guy you want.
I'm just now really high on the defensive line in this class, and I say that like later in the draft. There's a few guys that I like in this class. It's definitely not what it was last year, in my opinion, from the defensive line standpoint, especially inside. So it's tough taking somebody this late on the defensive line. Like I almost kind of would just wait and take players undrafted, sign undrafted, some of these guys undrafted free agents, because I just think it's a big reach on some of these guys taking them at 246. But
I think I'm probably leaning the defensive lineman from Miami.
Okay.
I know it's probably a little bit of a reach, but
Kenny, you can go ahead and take David Blay here, defensive lineman from Miami, 6'4", 305. I mean, I think you're definitely addressing the need for sure. I mean, we'll see. Going forward, if that's it, ends up working out for Denver. I think you got to have some competition on that with that defensive line. I mean, losing JFM was huge, so we'll see if Denver actually addresses defensive line in free agency. Again, I'm a big Calais Campbell fan for a reason because I think he obviously addresses your need now, but also it really gives you more options to where you don't have to necessarily take a defensive lineman in this class. I guess you can take somebody inside, but you do have Wazirike. And honestly, at this point, I would probably take a Wazirike over most of these guys right now. Still left on the board.
Yeah, and now we're just drafting depth and that type of thing anyway, so
Kenny, let's look at running back really quick. That's something we have not addressed yet. Again, don't love this running back class really either. And a lot of these guys you could probably wait and get them as undrafted free agents, but that's one position we haven't really addressed at all. I would say cornerbacks could be there as well. I mean, again, we're just taking flyers on players at this point in time, but there's possibly maybe some corner could be in play here. I mean, you're looking for special teams guys as well. I mean, wide receivers. I mean, that can be. I know we just talked about like, oh, well, they got plenty of depth in that wide receiver room. Yes, but you're looking for special teamers too. So, Jody, do you think if the Broncos don't pick a running back in this class, is it time to panic in this running back room because you're running back the same running back room if you don't take a running back in the draft?
I mean, I would, and I've probably said that I would take one higher up, but I drafted what I think Denver's going to do, and like I've been saying, I think they're very high on Harvey.
And we got the chat, Jamari Taylor for TW, and let's let the chat pick this time, Kenny. Adam Randall's from Ernie Mays.
And I say that on Harvey because I feel like they overdrafted him, and I think they knew that, and there were weaknesses that were pretty obvious. I mean, everyone says, "Oh, how pass blocking is the most important thing," and Sean Payton, but yet he was not a good pass blocker.
Mm-hmm.
So there were some elite skills that they seen from him that they liked. If they can get be a little more patient when he hits the hole and stop trying to back everything outside, that type of stuff, I think they have a good running back there. And like I've said, that's the biggest wild card. If he has that second year leap, then he solves pretty much the one hole that was hurting on this team last year on the offensive side.
Right. So this is a player that I actually starting to like even more. Again, don't love this running back draft class, but a few running backs in this class I do like. Adam Randall, the size sticks out to me, 6'3", 232 pounds. I know Mr. Ernie Mays just said that in the chat. So if I'm going to go running back here, let's go Adam Randall. I mean, again, no guaranteed that you're going to be able to get him as an undrafted free agent. So Adam Randall would be my pick here as well. If I had to pick, and I know Ernie Mays has said it, and I think hopefully people in the chat will like this pick again. We haven't really taken running back, really high in this draft, but I agree with Jody. I don't know that's necessarily going to happen. Like I think they really do like their running back room right now, and you got to give RJ Harvey a chance to former second round pick. I mean, they really going to take a running back high again for 2 years in a row. I mean, we'll see. So Adam Randall would be the pick here for us. Looks like that pick has been submitted. We got a couple more comments I want to get to. TW, we have a bottom 5 running back room since JK goes down. Yes, TW, I do agree with that, and I do agree that they should have done a much better job at addressing running back. But I do think again, this has got to be the year for RJ Harvey to step up, and if by mid-season, I mean he's not where you want him to be, and JK's down. There's always an option to trade. I mean, there's always options where you can possibly, trade for a veteran running back and bring one in. So, but I do agree this running back room needs to be much more improved than they were last year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just them going out, the fact that they didn't overspend to get ETN, I think that was for me all the proof I needed to see that they're sold on RJ Harvey and they think he can take that next leap. So
Absolutely. Michael Ronquillo, the Ronk coming in with 100 stars. Good evening, Trevor and Jody, and go Bo Broncos. Good evening, Michael. Great to see you. He said I just got done watching opening day of Major League Baseball between the Yankees and San Francisco Giants. Great to see you, Michael. Thank you for hopping in, doing our first 1.0 Denver Bronco mock draft, DBR mock draft of the offseason. We will obviously be having plenty of more of these going forward. Thank you for joining in. All right, we're about ready to wrap up, Michael. Hopefully, we'll show our big board what we've done so far. I think you'll like what we've done so far. What are we at, Kenny? Are we still picking here at 257? Oh, yeah, they have back-to-back picks. So, Jody, you're on the clock. and please, Michael, and chat, also play a part of this. So if anybody has any suggestions as well, or who you would like to see the Broncos pick here, please feel free to chime in. But, Jody, you are now on the clock.
Let's look at linebacker again, see if there's maybe we'll double dip there.
And you're looking for special teams here too, so you could definitely double dip at linebacker and have no problem. Add a depth and plus more on special teams too.
I think I might look at Scooby Williams. I mean, he kind of had an off year last year, but I think the year before, I think he was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably where I would lean. I like Lander Barton too. I thought he was good at Utah, so I could go either pick there. I like both of those.
Okay. I mean, I would say Lander Barton, size-wise, for me, sticks out, 6'3", 236. But I agree with you with Williams, too. Definitely had a down year this past year, but could definitely step up. And it has the upside there, too. I mean, the upside's there at linebacker.
I think that's where I would go with Scooby Williams.
Okay. And see if the chat says anything. If anybody has any preference. Phil says he cannot read the board. Let's see here, Phil. There we go. Now let's see if you can. Okay, there you go, Phil. See if everybody agrees with this. This is Jody's pick, but again, we're taking in consideration our posse members, of course, as well. TW coming in with this comment: Justin Jefferson would be a fun linebacker for the future. Lorenzo Styles is there too. Jody, would he be in play here for you at cornerback?
Yeah, I thought he was all right. I mean, he's transitioned to cornerback. He started on the offensive side of the ball at Notre Dame, transferred. If he's anywhere close to what Sonny Styles is, I think he could be that project type guy.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like Lorenzo Styles. The fact that he's still there is pretty amazing. 6 foot 194. I mean, I obviously not too big of a cornerback, but he's a guy that can play outside. I like Lorenzo Styles quite a bit. Also, Devon Marshall sitting there, I like him. Phil says Styles. So if you're okay with Styles, Jody, I'm perfectly fine with Lorenzo Styles being the pick.
I'm good with that.
Okay. Pick is in. And again, chat, we will be showing everybody everything that we've got, our board. And please grade the picks. So I'll recap our draft so far. We just completed the draft. So I will recap our full 1.0 DBR mock draft for your Denver Broncos. We have pick 62, safety, AJ Halsey out of LSU. 108, tight end, Oscar Delp out of Georgia. 111, Caleb Alarms Ower, the linebacker out of TCU. 170, we took Bo Stevenson, the guard from Iowa. David Blay we took out 246, the defensive line out of Miami. At 256, we took running back Adam Randall out of Clemson. And at 257, we took cornerback Lorenzo Styles Jr. from Ohio State. That is our first mock draft of the offseason on Denver Bronco Roundup. Please grade our draft. See what you think. See if we're open to ideas. We're open to discussion. Do you disagree with things? We got our running back. We got a running back late. But Jody, overall, quick thoughts. how would you grade our draft? First mock draft of the offseason for the Denver Broncos. I give us a solid A minus B plus. I think a couple of different directions we could have went, but I would say at least B plus. I would say.
Yeah, I'm right there. Running back is going to be the one position what that people are going to say we definitely should have addressed it. But like I've been saying, they're much higher on J.K. Dobbins than most, and I've heard a few people say if you draft one that high, what does that say for R.J. Harvey already? So I think he gets I think he gets at least one more year to prove that he can be the guy.
Absolutely, yeah.
But other than that, I like it. I'm fine with taking no wide receivers here. And I've said for a while, I don't want another one just to throw in the mix. We addressed the 1A or 1B, the Batman and Robin, and I think we're good there. So yeah, I like this draft overall.
Yeah, same here. And we're getting, again, love the feedback we're getting. TW said I'd say a B to a C plus just because of the running back room still lacking. I will agree with you, TW. I think we could have done a better job in that running back room. But again, you got to take something to get something. So it's like if we drafted a running back high, we probably would have missed out on a couple other players and a couple other needs. So and a couple of just holes in general. So we still took a running back. I still think the Clemson running back is really good. And we got good value on the players we got. And I will say TW really quickly. I'm not sure Denver takes a running back high. Like I think with RJ Harvey, what we've talked about earlier, giving him a chance to really excel this year, I think is going to be big for Denver. I think they're still relatively high on him, so something to keep in mind. But I wouldn't be surprised if Denver took a running back mid draft in the middle rounds, more or less. I don't think they take it at 62, but we shall see. And Phil said real quick, don't we get a grade from the mock? No, Phil, that was a previous mock, but this is a new one that we just used. But you grade us, and our posse members, everybody grades us on this mock and see what everybody thinks. We're getting an A from Michael. Great to see that. So grades are on the board. Even after the show, though, everybody, please feel free to grade our picks and see what everybody thinks. And so, with that being said, we're getting towards the end of the show. Let's get our quick sponsor breaking this. We went a little bit long tonight, but hopefully everybody enjoyed our first mock draft of the offseason for your Denver Broncos. So let's get a quick word from your sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. I was muted there for a minute. Yeah, there we go. That was your word from our wonderful sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. Once again, thank you to Miss Pearl. Shout out to Miss Pearl for being our amazing sponsor, Morgan Trinkets. Go check them out. Miss Pearl, I did not see her in the chat tonight, but just know, Miss Pearl, we love you as always, and thank you for sponsoring our show and being amazing. Jody, we want to get our final thoughts in here pretty soon. So your final thoughts on tonight, and quickly, give your quick if you have a Peyton Manning story really quick, one of your favorites, please talk about it a little bit.
One of my favorites is when he threw that kind of wobbler in the corner to Demaryius Thomas for the whatever it was to become the all-time touchdown leader against the San Francisco 49ers. I love seeing that. And then the way he ended his career, winning a Super Bowl, wasn't his best season by far, but what he was able to do when he came back from that injury and in that second half to Willis past the Chargers to get the 1 seed in the bye, stuff like that. And then just, funny things like I still get a kick out of when they on NFL Network and stuff, they play the Saturday and him getting into it on the sidelines. I mean, they're going at it hardcore. Mm-hmm. that type of stuff. But um, at the time, I wasn't really sure because he was coming off the injury if this was the right move. I mean, Denver just won a playoff game with Tebow. I thought with a little whatever, maybe Tebow could have done something, but it obviously was the right move. And if I mean, we haven't seen offense like that since he's left here. It was incredible and it was fun to watch. And everyone's saying Omaha and that type of stuff. It was a fun 4 years while he was here for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And any final thoughts, my friend, really quick before I go?
Good show tonight. Fun mock draft. I'm excited to see what Denver does. See if they've been making some little moves with some clearing some money. If they've got one more little deal left in them. But like I've said, Denver's at a point now that it's wants, not needs, and that's a good position to be in. And I think the little tweak with Davis Webb getting plays and switching up to a little bit more air raid, I think this is going to be a fun offense next year. And I think this is a year where I think you really see a giant leap from Bo Nix. I think we started to see it, especially in that playoff game. He went toe-to-toe with Josh Allen, and he probably really outplayed Josh Allen. He should have had 4 touchdowns in that game-winning, the game-tying touchdown or take the lead touchdown late in the fourth. And then to make those big throws on a broken ankle to get those PI calls is pretty incredible, to throw the ball that far down the field, then to be able to take a knee like he did. So I'm just excited where this team's going, and I think they, in my opinion, are the favorite in the AFC next year.
Yeah. For me, I'll go quickly on my Peyton Manning story, and then I'll get my final thoughts in as well. Again, thank you to everybody out there chatting tonight, and whether you're watching live or after the fact, I really appreciate everybody. Michael coming in and say, my favorite player, Peyton Manning, play is the fake bootleg against the Dallas Cowboys when DeMarcus Ware was part of that play with the Dallas Cowboys. It's crazy, Michael, just kind of seeing how that all played out. Plus now then seeing DeMarcus Ware join the Denver Broncos and be a part of that elite defense. It's just awesome. It's funny how things play out sometimes, later on. But my favorite Peyton Manning story, I will say, I just think on that Super Bowl run, just in general, you could tell he wasn't the same Peyton Manning. His final season in Denver, but him coming in against the Indianapolis Colts and just being able to really secure that victory. When Brock Osweiler and that offense wasn't doing very well, you could just kind of tell that Peyton Manning, he just took that offense by his hands, by his grips, and just really ran through Indianapolis. And just the line adjustments, the veteran presence of Peyton Manning just took over that game and was the biggest difference. Again, you're not winning a Super Bowl that season without Peyton Manning. And vice versa with Brock Osweiler. Brock Osweiler did his thing. He got his money after the fact, of course, and helped Denver win a Super Bowl. But really, every player matters. It just goes to show on your team, you need your whole 53-man roster to win a Super Bowl. And so Peyton Manning, though, coming in that game just taking that offense by the horns and doing his thing. Just you could tell the difference of the veteran presence coming into that game and everything he did, all the line adjustments, everything. Keeping opposing defenses off guard, and so I think he did a great job against the Colts doing that. That's probably one of my favorite memories. Getting clinching for Denver, being able to clinch the number 1 seed, was huge, and Peyton Manning played a big part in that. So that would probably be my favorite Peyton Manning moment. Just you could feel his presence on the field against the Colts, and just really helping Denver secure that victory. But no, my final thoughts for me. Great mock draft. Again, first of many here on DBR, and looking forward to more going forward and getting into more of these scenarios. Again, these scenarios are going to continue to play out and will be different, but we want to prepare all Bronco fans out there and everybody, all of our posse members, for different scenarios. That's why we run through all these simulators and all these scenarios. I love doing mock drafts, and one of my favorite times of the year. So, and I think we did actually quite well in this mock draft. So, big thank you, big shout out to everybody out there tonight watching whether they're watching live or even after the fact. I just really appreciate it and can't thank everybody enough for this amazing support. If you like what you see and you love what you're listening to, please like, share, and subscribe. We do this for everybody. We do this for our posse members, our juicers, our mock drafters, everything. Just know all the preparation we do is for everybody. And I want to thank our amazing other horsemen backstage, Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick, for being amazing, getting everything ready for us with our simulator and everything, getting everything sorted out. And thank you to our audience for being patient as well. So for me, Broncos Country, really want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we'll see everybody next time. As always, go Broncos.